I slide down against the door and simply wait, listening to the occasional patter of what I assume is the blood on the wall. I don't know how much time passes. Maybe 5 seconds? Maybe 5 minutes. And I don't care. It feels nice to lay down. When the firing is over, I barely even notice it. Soon after, Boxdale walks back over to our side of the room. They're all gone, Boxdale says. And I've resealed the hangar doors. How'd you kill them like that? Classified weapons that, quite frankly, you have no business being near. Amy gets to her feet and returns to the panel door. Thanks. How badly is the civilian hurt? Boxdale asks Amy, as if not good enough for him to speak to. A nasty cut, Amy answers. If he gets some quick attention, he'll be okay. Okay. I'll have Strickland get a medkit. Strickland survived? Amy asks, sounding cheerful. Yes. Until you and your friends? You mean friend? It's just me, buddy. Showed up. I thought we were the only ones. Hang tight. She's on her way. With that said, he retreats away to the back of the room, as if he can't stand to be around us. Amy approaches me and looks over me. You're in good hands. Strickland will be able to fix you up. Is she a doctor or something? Sort of. She's also a physicist. Ugh, my fucking throat. Like, it's cold and I've got a sore throat already. But oddly enough, she spent times as a trauma nurse in the army. Is Strickland a friend of yours, I ask? Amy chuckles. Yeah, we've known each other for a while. The only woman in the sea overachieving men. You must be glad Strickland survived. I am. We usually have lunch together. And she's helped me out in a few tight spots in my career. Within a few seconds, the door behind us opens and a woman appears from back further in the chamber. She enters the room with what looks like to be a small suitcase. She's dressed in a very basic and drab military getup, complete with a holstered sidearm. My name is Connie Strickland, she says, getting straight to the point. I can patch you up pretty good, but it's gonna hurt. Yeah, I can imagine. I nod, honestly not caring how much it hurts. My god, I just want to get out of here. To get home. Sit down, let's see if we can get your shirt off. Ooh, we might have some romance here. I sit down slowly and start unbuttoning my shirt. She has to help me slip off of my shoulders, but we manage. How bad is it? Bad. It almost looks like a burn, but I've seen much worse. I might as well talk to Strickland, if only to distract from the pain. So, what's your story? Yeah, let's get to know everybody here. Strickland rolls her eyes and she gathers up a needle with some thread. I was always into fringe science. Oh, the TV show. Okay. I started in the labs where these eccentric Russian scientists were being funded by the US to work on combining DNA types. I sort of became obsessed with perfecting human physiology while I was in a trauma nurse in the army. You're a mad scientist then? I say. I get that a lot, but no. Not compared to the stuff we do here. What kind of stuff? It's complicated. Comar masses, quantum gravity, crunching things down into that's not a word. Radiuses, fun stuff. Yeah, a mad scientist, I say, trying to keep myself calm with dry humor. There are lots of small labs working in the same stuff, she argues. They just don't have our funding. When you guys ran in here, she says, I was horrified. Those barrels outside. I'm not sure if you saw them. Well, if you shot them, it could have been bad. Why? The grey ones are filled with an experimental fluid that is highly flammable. The yellow one is contained liquid nitrogen. Oh, great! What? Just laying around? Well, this area is the safest in the building. The most secure. Well, it used to be, anyway. And take this. Handing me 4 pills. Painkillers. They won't work immediately, but they'll dull the worst of your feeling. And these the best idea? Are these the best idea? Won't they make me dizzy or sort of out of it? All I get in response is an annoyed and determined look. He's got a point. Like, if these things somehow get out or get in, I don't want to be high on my ass while they come get me, you know? Like, man, I'm high on these painkillers. Well, I don't think you get high off painkillers. I don't know. I don't know. I've never had much fucking painkillers, okay? Maybe they're like really like experimental painkillers. Great! I hate that sound. I feel like I fucked up already. I dry swallow the pills as she starts working on me. She slathers the wound with some sort of liquid that stings like crazy, and I gasp. Grin and bear it. You're a man. Be a man. Ready to stab me yet? I'm fine. I wince as she dabs at my eye, swollen from where Marcus kicked me. I grit my teeth in pain and try to catch my breath. The anticipation is the worst part. I'm relieved to find that it doesn't hurt as much as I feared. It's no picnic for sure, but compared to the fire-like pain in my wound, it's bearable. So you and Barksdale are the only survivors, Amy asks. It seems that way. Those that didn't disappear into the thin air were killed by those things. No one else made it, you sure? Not that I've seen. If anyone else did make it, they're trapped out there with those things. I'm glad to see you. Where were you when it happened? I was in the micro lab in level 2, Strickland replies. Park and O'Brien were in there with me, and they just disappeared, I guess. It looked like they were being stretched, distorted, and then there was a ball of white light and they were gone. A ball of light just annihilated everything it touched. Would it leave a perfectly round hole? I asked. A light bulb turning into my head? We saw one of those things up at the logging site. That was probably the same phenomenon. Amy looks like a child afraid to ask an adult for something. Finally she asks, where did they go? We don't know. It could be an infinite number of different dimensions, or some dimension that merge and mix together. It could also be a place that exists between dimensions, Barksdale calls it another world. How's that possible? We don't know that just yet. Our understanding of space-time is evolving, especially when we start warping it like we have done before, been doing. That point seems to be the end of the conversation as both women fell silent. I went through the rest of Strickland's stitching, feeling a tug on my skin, but thankfully no more flowing blood. Finally Strickland says, you're good to go. I slide my shirt back on, aware of the thick pad of gauze that Strickland applied to my shoulder. So have you and Barksdale been able to contain all these creatures? Contain? Are you nuts? Do you not know what's happening? What do you mean? What's happening? Other than the initial experiment failure. The anomalies are becoming more numerous and further from the source. Further from the source? Further from the source? From the location of the original experiment. The experiment caused the first doorway to open, but it set off a chain reaction. They're gaining momentum along... geocides, emanating from the facility. It's these pockets of exotic matter and negative energy that are letting these things in. What the hell does that mean? It means that those doorways and monsters are starting to appear all over the facility. Maybe even the surface. Not yet, luckily. But the doorways are still appearing on the surface. And it won't stop there. The anomalies reach to extend infinitely as far as we know. Those entities will appear on the surface. In other states, other countries. Holy shit. You mean the world is going to be overrun? The horror of the past few hours has made me ready to believe anything. But this is almost too much. Unfortunately, yes. My god. Isn't there anything we can do? There was a last resort. There's an emergency fail-safe switch. What? I never heard of that. Where? You weren't cleared for it. And that switch is a way to stop this. Yes. What does it do? That's the problem. What does it do? The switch is our eraser. It destroys the entire facility and just terminates any systems or experiments that are being conducted. It's also an emergency shutdown for interdimensional travel. It puts an event horizon around the facility. What the hell is that? It's the perimeter of a black hole. The boundary inside which nothing can escape. Not even light. But there's two problems with hitting the switch. So the first problem is we'd all be killed. Sucked into a black hole before we have the time to evacuate. The second reason is that Barksdale won't allow it. What? Why not? He wants to allow those things to flood the surface? Thousands, millions will die. Strickland puts her hand up, silencing Amy. They both peer over the far side of the room, where Barksdale has his back turned. I know. He says he doesn't care. He says he'll be happy to get rid of the oversight, so he can continue his work. The oversight? Amy almost screams, regaining control over her voice, and Strickland gives her another look of warning. You mean our government? He's aware that this could disrupt, even topple our government, and he doesn't care? Barksdale is, well, he's off the range right now. He's gone rogue, and he's armed. This comment makes me look towards the handgun I brought in with me. I'd nearly forgotten it in the last few moments. While Barksdale has his back turned, I take it in my hands to slide it behind me. Just in time too, Barksdale walks over the back of the room inside the chamber. He gives Strickland a suspicious look before speaking to her. Is the civilian going to survive? Yes. He's stitched up and good to go. That's great news. I'm sitting here right here, man. Come on, man. You can actually speak to me, you know. Amy, it's quite nice to see that you have survived, he says. Were there any others? The aloof way this asshole is talking to us is getting under my skin. A guy named Marcus that works in the first level from IT, Amy says. That's all I know for sure. Marcus Papscott. Where is he? We're not sure. He was separate from us. Oh. Clearly taken aback by my stern reply. That's unfortunate. Barksdale seems to think about something he had, then looks directly at me. You're with the logging crew, aren't you? Remind me, how did you get in here again? We were trying to get away from here, buddy. Alright, we lost our primary power source and then the experiment failed, Barksdale says. The experimental failure created those exotic matter pockets. That hole you fell into. And if there were enough of them, it may have opened a way into the facility. Depending on the power sources that were damaged, Barksdale continued, it could have also shut down the locking system before backups kicked in. Everything is starting to make sense now. From the very start, it had seemed peculiar that we've been so easily able to walk into this place like this. I think your rest of your crew is dead, but we'll ask anyway. Your crew? Frank and Joe? They're gone. Gone? Gone where? Hearing him speak, the name of my crew enrages me. They were annihilated by antimatter pockets created during the failure. A bright ball of light. In the aftermath, all you'd see would be a rough hole in the ground. Barksdale says this like he's sharing yesterday's sports scores. I let my face crumble into my hands. I had suspected this. All this time, they were already dead. What caused it to fail? Your crew hit one of our main power lines. We aren't sure exactly how, but we know what we did. You're trying to blame all this on me? The timing was unfortunate. So, what do we do now? Now, it's time to continue our work. Yeah, are you mad, bro? Are you mad? You want to keep your little toys to yourself? And you're willing to unleash those monsters to the world to do it? Indeed. I want to continue my work. Other researchers will eventually discover what we have, sure. But I want to be me. This is my laboratory. These are my experiments. The work I've led here will earn me a place in history. And quite frankly, I don't need to explain it to you. A Upon the surface, they'll struggle to defend themselves, since they won't know what they're dealing with. I have the necessary weapons. After a few months, who knows? Maybe I'll decide the world is ready for me to help them. And I'll go from there. Strickland steps up directly beside me and whispers into my ear. I wouldn't push him. He's usually very logical, but this whole thing has pushed him into somewhere else. He's well off. He turns his back to us. He says this, walking to the far side of the chamber, like we're some kind of distraction. Amy takes the opportunity to whisper to us, we need to hit that switch. It's the only option. What he's saying is murder, treason, genocide. He is! He looks over to Strickland for support, trailing off, but Strickland looks at the ground, clearly torn. She won't look anyone in the eye and makes an effort to not to look at Barksdale. He seems distracted with whatever instrument he's studying at the far side of the room. The dreamlike quality I experienced earlier is wearing off. The painkillers seem to be losing their edge. Strickland finally whispers a response. Even if we decide what we want to hit that switch, Barksdale won't allow us. You can figure something out, right? Maybe you guys could break for it. Where is the switch located? There's an elevator out the hangar. Take it to the basement. The switch is at the end of the long tunnel. Two things happen at once as she speaks, her mouth stopping in mid-sentence. First, a loud booming noise rings out on top of her head. It seems to explode. Amy screams out in surprise, and I jump back in shock. Strickland's body collapses beside me. Behind her fallen body, Barksdale is holding an experimental rifle, and now he's pointing at us. Oh, Jesus Christ! I think we're better off out there than in here. Oh, Jesus. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I wonder if Barksdale is ever crazier than Marcus. He just shot a woman that worked for him to keep quiet. Surely he won't have an issue of killing me. Now, no more whispering, no secrets. You will stay in here. And get away from the door. If anyone whispers one more thing, I'll blow your heads off. My mind is racing to figure out a way to get through the secure door and get into the hangar. Beyond that, of course, there was a failsafe switch. Insult Barksdale. I think insulting him is not gonna do. I think insulting him will just give him a reason to shoot me. Make a distraction. Whoa. I try my best to be a good actor as I wobble on my feet a bit. I stop, start forward again, and then wobble some more. Aim is apparently catching on because she's at my side in a second. She looks over to Barksdale and says, "He's lost a lot of blood. Let me check if his wound's really quick." After he dared to talk to me like that, he's been through a lot, she urges. He's clearly delusional. You can check him back here, Barksdale says. You have 30 seconds to get away from that door or I will. I stretch out in acting skills and I actually stumble to a knee. I make a show of trying to get to my feet and stand still for a moment. I'm okay, I say. I'm okay. I think as quickly as I can, I raise my gun and fire. I don't even take aim. I just fire Barksdale's general direction. Barksdale takes off running. As my shot misses wide, he runs for cover. The back of the room. That's all we need. That's all we need. Amy fires a shot to keep him under cover as we head for the door. Amy pushes a button and the door swings open. Barksdale will be on us in a second, so we dash out in the hangar, ready to defend ourselves. Well, we lost Dennis. We thought we gained somebody, but we lost someone else, and oh great, we're going running now. We're being hunted now. Well, we already were hunted, but now we're being more hunted. Amy and I run as far as we can through the rows of barrels. Barksdale comes charging out of the chamber almost immediately. As he steps into the hangar floor, he starts shooting. Each shot sends a jolt of fear through me as I wait for the bullet at the end of my life. We need to get to the elevator on the far side of the room, Amy yells me. It leads down below to the switch. Like, running, it sounds like a good idea, but if he can just quickly get us with that experimental weapon thing, that's not a good sign for us. That ain't a good sign. That ain't a good sign for us. Fend them off? We both lean out the cover of the barrels and take several shots at Barksdale. He steps back to the isolation chamber, which gives me a sense of victory. But then I realize he may just be reloading whatever high-powered weapon he has. We need to move, I say. Agreed, she says. We both take off in a full sprint of the other side of the hangar. Somehow I make it through the rows of barrels and get for the elevator entrance. I turn back to allow Amy to enter first, but she isn't there. I look back to the barrels and see that she has fallen about halfway down the row. She doesn't appear to be hurt, but she's paralyzed with fear, sitting motionlessly as Barksdale peppers the area. A gunfire. Run back and cover her. I start to step out into the open to head back for Amy, but Barksdale gunfire pins me to the elevator entrance with a loud bang. Apparently he's reloading that weapon of his. As the sparks fly inches from my face, I realize that I have to help her from here. I then remember the contents of the barrels. One color was flammable, the other nitrogen. I'm no scientist, but I'm pretty sure liquid nitrogen is mostly harmless unless you make direct contact. If only those barrels got shots nitrogen, that could create a cover sort of way to help Amy, like a smoke cloud. Oh hell, but which of these barrels like... Oh, don't do this! The yellow's liquid nitrogen. The yellow's liquid nitrogen, right? The yellow is definitely the liquid nitrogen. Oh, I'm boy. Oh god, please don't be fucking wrong. I fucked up. Oh no, I fucked up. I fucked up. I fucked up royally, haven't I? Oh, I thought I messed up, because the pinging doesn't really help me. It does not help. Amy looks around for a moment, clearly baffled, but then figures out what I've done. She hits the ground right away for a moment. I lose sight of her in the cloud of mist. Behind us, Barksdale starts to fire apparently, not caring if he happens to hit one of the barrels with fuel in it. Moments later, I see Amy's shape emerge from the mist. There's a terrifying second there where she's out of the mist, and in the exposed space between the barrels and the protection offered by the elevator's interior. Barksdale gets off 2 shots, but the nitrogen mist is obscured his vision too much for him to get a proper aim. However, one of them nicks Amy's leg, sending her tumbling just before she reaches the entrance of the elevator. I dash out, lift her up, and we both hobble to the elevator behind the cover of the mist. Thanks. Thank God you remembered which barrel which was. Yeah, I totally remembered. I reach out to press the call button to the elevator. We both step inside and close the door. It's a service elevator made of wood. Metal, like something for a local mine. We step inside and the doors close. The motors on the elevator sound like dying dogs. As the elevator slides down, the lights from the flames give way to complete blackness. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered that. That would have ended poorly. Oh, what is this nonsense? What is this? What is some fucking... Oh god, I lose track of how long the elevator descends. It's hard to tell due to the lack of lighting, but it must go another 500 feet underground. The elevator comes to a stop with a shuddering clang, and I waste no time exiting. A tunnel stretches out with sparse light bulbs lighting the way. Most of the wall is made of raw earth and rock, but there are boards and concrete slattered in areas used to reinforce the tunnel. I see a warning sign posted on the wall. I want to read it, but there's not much time. Let's read that. That could fuck us up. Warning, authorized personnel only beyond this point. Trespassers will be prosecuted to the full extent of law. Absolutely no exceptions. Well, glad we got that out of the way, now that everyone is dead. Suddenly I feel that effects of the painkillers again. My head feels like a balloon and my balance is off kilter. I look up and when I see that the tunnel's ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head, claustrophobia freezes me for a moment. The ceiling is not high at all. There's barely enough room for Amy and I to walk side to side, which is for the best because her leg is clearly causing her a great deal of pain. She's soaked in blood and hobbling along. I don't think I can go any further, she says, wincing, trying to keep her composure. Sit down, I tell her. I'll be back. There's no sense in chancing further injury to your leg. She nods and I help her down. She shudders in pain and she eases into a sitting position. Thanks. According to Starkland, the switch should be at the end of this hallway. I look up, and when I see that the tunnel's ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head, claustrophobia freezes. What? Didn't we just read that part? Okay. Still, there's much to facing the monster above me. I wonder then, walking through the darkness, where they came from. Is this portal still open? I hold the gun in one hand and feel my way along the wall with the other. The wall under the palm anchors me to reality, to sanity. I am not in some boundless abyss, but still in real world. For a little while longer at least. I recognize that I am reaching at my end. I'm marching at my end. As much as I wish I weren't, it's not surprising. From the moment I saw those creatures could do this time and space, at least, a part of me knew that this death was inevitable. Before I have time to wonder whether my family will really miss me, I see a light ahead. It's nothing more than a speck of blue light, but in the darkness of the tunnel, it's like a lighthouse on the stormy sea. I slog forward, my eyes straining to focus on that little light ahead. From somewhere ahead, I start to hear something that sounds like water. It is trickling light, like a leaky faucet. And behind that, there is something that sounds like wind. A light breeze through the open field, and a voice. Anywhere else, the sounds would have been pleasant, but here in the blackness of tunnels, they're menacing. Stay quiet, you motherfucker. You stay quiet. I told you my rule. I don't make a sound, instead trying to make sense of what's going on around me. I cock my head, trying to concentrate, and then realize that I can see the tunnel walls now. This is odd, as I wasn't able to see them a few seconds ago. This is different from the blue light at the end of the tunnel. It's then that I see the slight slimmer of air. It looks like a foggy mirror, steamed over after a shower. And it's moving, dancing in the air like some obstruct firefly. It's not menacing like those creatures, so that threat is null. It's peaceful, serene. I watch as the shimmer branches out and becomes 2, then 3, then 4. They snake out in different directions, tracing the tunnel walls. Are these shimmers the doors to another dimension that Starkland was talking about? Suddenly I'm surrounded by the light above and below me and realize there's no avoiding it. The question is, how am I going through? Head first. I mean, if I was gonna die, I would go head first. That's my opinion. But if I'm gonna oh no! Head feet first. Unable to resist, I step forward into where the tunnel wall should be. When I do, those shimmering lights branch out even more, before connecting in one perfect circle form. They're hypnotizing, so much so that I don't realize that the tunnel walls are vanishing. I feel something like wind and a brief electrical pulse pass through me as the lights take me. There is then a very gentle pushing sensation that I somehow know that I am able to expel. I've passed through something. Maybe the lights, maybe the tunnel walls, I don't know. But the shimmering lights fade a bit. Still dancing in the air, but no longer large and branching out. And as far as my eyes adjust, I see right away that I am no longer standing in that dark tunnel far beneath the hangar. I have no idea where I am. I'm just somewhere else, and I'm terrified. How long has this been going for? This is a long chapter. Am I in hell? Am I in hell? The ground I land on looks like hot coal. There are dips in many cliffs breaking the landscape ahead of me. There's a wash of orange and blue overhead in the sky that makes no sense. It is both beautiful and terrifying at once. A scattering of stars hang overhead, and they all seem to be breathing, pulsing, with a gentle energy as if alive. I can't tell if there are clouds in the sky, because everything about it, from the colors to the trembling horizon line, seems to be amorphous. Everything is knitted together, living. I stare a moment, longer than I could swear I feel the sky breathing. Far off to my right, I see what looks like to be a plume of fire. Small, yet bright, with no source of fuel. It looks as if the ground itself is creating the flame. Several more in these flares dot the landscapes further out. The air is thick and muggy. Then I realize something horrible. I don't know if what I'm breathing here resembles air at all. In a place like this, one of the impossible beauties, but also very stark horror, my mind doesn't know what to do. A wave of nuance comes over me, and I think I might be sick. I'm not sure if I would be better to fight or give in. The white light that brought me here is nowhere to be found. Is there anywhere else that... You don't yell out, I ain't yelling. I continue to look out in the nightmarish landscape and see a few other unexplainable oddities. There are billowing flames in the distance, not like a volcano or explosions, just some kind of slow heat crawling upwards that defies reality. This analogy seems even more fitting when I see this thin vein-like roots. Robots? What am I talking about? Thin like roots of the fire twisting into the ground when they're darting back in the directions. I get the sick feeling again in my gut, and realize my mind just needs something to focus on. It's then that I hear a voice. It's faint, distant. I turn and hear it coming out of one of the massive crevices along the ground, inside of that crack. About 10 feet down, a very pale man lies on the ledge. He is human, but looks close to death. He is the center of a large pool of blood. His left leg has been twisted and torn in an unnatural way. Wait. As I walk to the ledge, he looks up and sees me. His eyes are wide, although everything about him speaks of weakness. Who are you? Dr. Kana. He's trying to get out. I work in the facility. Please, help. I want to know more, but it seems cruel to steal what looks like his last breath just to answer questions. I'd love to, but I don't know where the hell I am or how to get back home. The light. Where'd it go? They come and go. They'll be back. Now please help me. I desperately want to help, but there's no way I can reach him. His ledge is too far away above the pool of fire. I don't think I can get you out. No, that's not what I mean. His eyes are on the handgun. I almost forget I'm holding it. I realize what he wants and I shake my head. I can't do that. Please. Those things. They have the others that came here with me. I got dropped along the way. They'll be back. They'll be back and they'll kill me. That will be quicker and less painful. I can't. Please look at my damn leg. I'm dead already. I'm about to refuse him again when I hear an all too familiar static sound out from another crevice from behind him. I hear another of those shrill noises and then watch as one of those monsters materializes out of nowhere, out of the neighboring crevice. 2 more come out after it. Then a third, and 5, then 10. As soon as I lose count, oh my god, and I suddenly understand what that man's reasonings. A bullet would be mercy. I check the gun and see that I have only 1 round left. I can use it on this guy, but I may need it for myself later. From beside me, the man pleads again. My god. Nah, buddy. I may need that later. I'm sorry, I can't. What I don't tell him is that I'm in a situation where I have to keep this one bullet. I can't waste it on him. He whimpers a bit, and I look away, unable to see that misery on his face. Behind me, I hear him give a mix between a scream mixed with high-pitched noises of an army of creatures. The volumes rise as he lets out a cry after cry. I clench my teeth as the torture continues. Then suddenly his voice is sliced, and only the sick static sound remains. And that's when I see the shimmers waving to my right, in the direction I originally came from. I look back to the monsters and see that they have now noticed me. Some of them begin floating up the walls of the crevice. There are less than 10 feet separating us. The shimmers of us, the white light within arm's reach. Its movement reminds me of a fish in an aquarium. I reach out to feel myself accepted by them again. I feel the sensation of the wind and wait for a feeling of being pushed out, back to the tunnel facility. But it doesn't come to this time. This time it feels like something else. I feel a tugging sensation that seems to want to drag me in all directions at once. As the world goes dark, I realize that I am somewhere else, and it is not the darkness of the tunnel. This is a darkness of total void. Have I fucked up? There is darkness around me everywhere. Nothingness. I feel nothing under my feet. Nothing to my sides. I can't touch or sense anything at all. I don't even know which way is up or down. It's as though I'm all that exists. And as I remain there, I just hear silence. Not even the sound of my heartbeat. The blackness is so deep that I feel I can't distinguish between my thoughts and what is real. I hear screaming, but I can't tell if it's someone else or my mind screaming to fill this void. Oh, I don't want to scream because these things are attracted to that, and I'm afraid if I scream, I am then just jumped with like 20 of them at me. I try to move. I try to kick and move my arms. It's not working, but it's not clear in what way it's not working. There are limbs not moving, or are they gone numb? It's impossible to tell. My body has just become absent of all sensation. I assume this is the place that Strickland referred to. The place between dimensions. This darkness could consume me if I wanted to. I try to will myself out of it. To have some shimmer of light spit me out. But it isn't happening. At this point, my mind starts to hallucinate. Or at least I think it does. Other visions? My mind playing tricks on me? I can't tell. All I can do is watch. I see the logging site. And Tony's legs still pinned under the dozer. I feel a pang of regret that I had left him in such a state. I see myself talking to Dennis, and him blowing up at me for not telling him that Tony was gone. Then the scene rearranges itself, and I'm watching as Marcus points his gun at Dennis. I'm too scared to help. It changes again, and the shape of Marcus lies on the ground, still hell-bent on revenge even after I let him alive. In my mind, I'm sobbing as I watch Dennis get torn apart by those monsters all over again. And I just stood by and watched. And I'm calmed a bit. But as I watched myself shoot the right barrel and helping Amy to safety, and just when I feel like I can't take any more of this, I see the man in the strange world begging for death. I watch as he's distorted and torn by those things. All these things are flooding my mind, and it feels like my brain is vomiting. Yet in the midst of it all, I see what's really important. The switch. In my mind's eye, I see that glowing light in the tunnel. One far ahead, small and distant. Try to focus. I think if I relax, then the darkness might take me. I focus my mind on the tunnel and the image of that flickering light. With a mental effort so strong that it is nearly a physical motion, I make myself envision that little light in the tunnel as if it were right there in front of me. With that, I feel the wind again. A light breeze that seems to come from everywhere. And then, with a relief that I can only imagine feel like death, I move forward. Wow. Whoa, that was a mind trip. How long have I gone on for? Like, at least an hour. I'm ejected from the void, and I'm suddenly standing in the tunnel again. I let out a wail of triumph that turns into a bout of weeping. The weeping only intensifies when I see the light up ahead, a flickering blue light. Somewhere behind me, I hear a crackling noise. I think of Amy down that way, by the elevator. Have they reached her? There is no way I can find out. For now, I have to keep an eye on the plan. Besides, if it works, we're all gone anyway. I feel like I can listen to get a better read on what they are, or just make it break. Oh no, this could be a tricky thing. But it is a... Go for it. I don't even bother looking back. There's no time. Instead, I run with all my might straight ahead, my focus on that little blue light ahead of me. As I run, I see a different light. A white one, flickering in my peripheral vision. It's another one of those shimmers that go to another world. It seems they are appearing and disappearing with more frequent now. Strickland was right. These things could reach the surface soon, unleashing more monsters. This thought makes me refocus on the blue light, the man-made light, the switch. The blue switch gets closer and as it does, I can make out a square shape around it. This has to be it. The familiar static scream of the monsters is much closer now. I have to be quick. I grip the gun tightly, knowing I only have one bullet left remaining, the bullet that the man in the other world who wanted me to use in the end of his life. I run ahead into the darkness, my eyes locked into the switch that I assume is going to kill not only the creatures, but myself as well. As I approach, I see the lever. It's covered by a glass door, and I will need to break it. The blue light is directly beneath this, highlighting a series of tubes and wires that snake into the inner workings of the device. In the middle of the blackness, not like a darkly colored part of the machine, but just a hole in reality. It looks like some sort of illusion. All the while, I can hear the static of the creatures coming in dangerously close. I have no much time left. I draw back the stock of the gun and smash through the glass box that houses the lever. The glass shattering is like music to my ears. I reach out for the lever, my hand grasping it. Without warning, I feel the immense pain coursing through my body. It feels like fire racing down my back, causing me to fall to one knee in agony. There's only one of them. I can see them. It blasts horribly static noise at me. As I ready my gun, one bullet left. I'm very glad I didn't put that poor man out of his misery. I take aim and fire my accuracy, rewarded with a spew of white gas from the creature's core. It backs away in defense. A second screech come gliding up behind me. Its tentacles melt into me, and I scream. I can't help it. It sounds like a wild animal. I can try to keep fending them off, or I can go for broke and just focus on the lever. Go for the lever. You're gonna get fucked up anyway. I put all my strength into the legs. The moment the monster in front of me draws back its eel-like arms and grabs me, I pivot backwards. My back strives the machine, sending agony rocking through my body. I'm so thankful that I broke the glass before this moment, before the coming violence. I stretch out and grab the lever. With one last desperate scream that shreds my voice, I jam it down. The tunnel is suddenly filled with flash of intense darkness. It expands from the switch, swallowing the matter around it. At first, I'm sure this is the end of me. I expect the darkness to consume me, followed by death. But then another shimmer of dancing light appears next to me. There are more of those streams of light, rips into space like like ones that previously sent me to another ungodly world and the void. With nothing else to do but die, I try to escape into the shimmer. Then, when that stream of light envelops me, the expanding darkness of the switch is gone, and I feel a huge push. Damn, I've been going on for a long time. I'm gonna make it to 2 parts. Okay, I'm gonna make it like 2 parts. Chapter 4, part 2. My body feels stretched, collapsing like I'm falling to a direction at once. The world goes white, and then there are the pinpoints of stars everywhere. One of them breezes directly by my right, and I see something that looks like a spiral galaxy distorted in its folds. To my right, I see an endless stretch of stars and gas clouds, forming some galactic architecture. But beyond the immeasurable beauty, I notice something. I'm seeing the same star patterns over and over. They're repeating like reflections in an endless mirror. And these are different versions of the same galaxies, the same realities. To my left, I see a calm blue world and can barely make out trees. Familiar Kentucky trees, and I have been around for the last few weeks. To my right, I see a copy, an orange world. And there are trees there as well. But something is strange, disturbing. As I zoom by, I'm not sure how much control I have in this tunnel, this unusual space, but if I can direct myself where? Oh no. Oh no. I try to focus my mind and head towards the blue world, not knowing what to expect. My breath escapes me for a moment. Everything is dark and peaceful, and nothing hurts. Off. Shit. I think I may have fucked up. With breath back into my body, I gasp open my eyes. I'm back. Back at the logging site. How? I'm not sure. Did the shimmers react with this implosion of the switch? Some other accident? I have no idea. I sit upright and away become instantly dizzy. Amy, I say? There's no way to think that she survived whatever happened in that tunnel. There's some sort of certainty that gets me to my feet. I wonder if I can somehow someone went back in time before we found the facility. But what happened next makes me realize that can't be true. As I start walking forward, I feel a tremor in the ground. Somewhere off in the distance, I hear a metallic groan. The buried facility. It's being ripped apart under the ground by the activation of the switch. Trees are splintering and falling to the east, and I can see them toppling just like dominoes. There's no way Barksdale and Marcus survived. Good riddance. I start to walk away in the opposite direction to the falling trees, but then I hear a scream. A woman's scream. I turn back and see a stumbling figure come out of the forest. It's Amy. She looks like a ghost. How is she here? Did she fall into one of those shimmers as well? I decided I don't care. Why is the music getting quieter? The music's getting quieter. Or maybe it's not. I thought it was gonna like jump scare me or something. I throw my arm under her armpit. She took to a hooker. They head me back to the logging site. You okay? Amy can only nod through her tears. I look to the area where the facility tore the woods apart and see a large plume of smoke rising up in the air. We've made it out of the facility alive, and that, I suppose, is the most important thing. It's then that I look up to notice the sky. Oh god, we got like other planets around us. Or we have like other planets, other dimensions, just like Journey's End, Doctor Who. The sky is beautiful and familiar, unobstructed by the trees that have been standing several minutes ago. I exhale and let my body start to relax. It's finally over. I'm not sure how long it will take me to get back to some semblance of a life, but I know one thing for sure. Any day above the ground is going to be a good day. Really? That's it? I thought... Wasn't there 5 chapters? I thought it was 5 chapters. Maybe I must have clicked chapter 5 by accident. I'll see. Tough it out. You and 36% of players decide to take the painkillers. Who survives? You and 62% of players shot the right barrel, keeping Amy alive. Oh, I could have killed her. You and 70% of players did not kill the man who asked for death. I'm glad I didn't. You and 83% of players headed towards the blue world and went home. So what would have been the other world then? Is that it? So what would have happened if I went right? Like, would that be like the opposite of what happened? Like, there's two dimensions, like one where the facility is destroyed, then the other, all hell just continues to break loose. These creatures grow and, destroy humanity. Would that would have happened? I'm guessing that's would have happened. Because there are other dimensions, so it's possible that we split the dimensions from one side where everything worked out fine, and then there was the other option, everything just turned out shit. Because, oh, god damn it. We could have had Dennis with us. Oh, I hate that in games where, like, you make it with the crew all the way, but then near the end they die, or someone dies near the end. Kind of like that one girl in Until Dawn. If you get her killed by accident, you can get her killed just before dawn. That's such a sucky way to die, just before things are okay. If that was me in like in a horror movie, and I get killed before like everything's fixed, my dying breaths are you fucking kidding me? Like, okay, oh my god. This was interesting. This was very interesting. I liked how this was playing out. Like, I was really getting invested in the story, like, how it all played out. Like, what caused this whole outbreak? What started this? What was the reasoning? What was all this going around? I like these choose your own story kind of games. I really enjoy them, because it really brings the real person out of me, I think. Well, maybe not, because I got Dennis killed. I mean, I would not have shot his hand, I'll be fair, unless I was really desperate, but I don't know. If I was really in that moment, I probably would have shot his hand. I don't know. But my point is, I love choice adventure games, or just where I get to make the choices, basically, like Telltale, or some visual novels. Like, you get to choose certain, like, choices, like, oh, you can do this route, or this route. Like Heavy Rain, or Detroit Become Human. I love those type of games. Those are very conflicting to me, especially with me with indecisive choices. It's really interesting. So I'm like, just panicking. I love that, but I don't like it at the same time with games. I love it. Yeah, I could have sworn there was 5 chapters. I'll split this into 2 parts then, definitely, because this is going on for like 2 hours or something. But, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was really something. Let's just see what else is here before I get too excited. Fireworks scared the shit out of me there. Oh, not funny, man. Not funny. Not funny. If you'd like to test our beta version of upcoming games, sign up for... Oh, okay. Okay, so that is it. Okay, I thought maybe like some secret ending or something. There's multiple endings, obviously, but like, I'm happy with what I got. I survived, Amy survived, we're gonna live a life together. Maybe I don't know, maybe things can work out. Maybe me and Amy can just, hook up, and maybe her kid can have a dad for once, not have a deadbeat or something, or whatever, I don't know. Did she say how her husband went away? I don't know, I think she said he ran away, or he left. Maybe I could be, me and her can get along. I don't know. I mean, who else can I relate to? I mean, I just went through the government's hell. Do you think anyone is going to ever understand what I've seen? All the mental, disturbing, physical trauma of being in a government facility, being in an outbreak with these creatures from another dimension, traveling in space and time. Do you think anybody's ever going to relate to that in my aspects? No way. Only Amy could grasp that, because she's the one who practically invented that philosophy in my head. It's like, just no one else could ever understand what went down. But god damn, I wish we kept Dennis. I wish I don't think I could have saved him, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I was not expecting this kind of stuff. Like, I didn't expect this kind of emotional roller coaster, or the sci-fi-ness of it. I enjoyed this. It was creepy. The creatures sounded really interesting. Like, just the descriptions of these creatures and their actions were so very off. Like, the way they just jerked around, or they had certain appendages, or they would like back away. Just certain ways they act. It was really interesting to read. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. So if you can, go buy this game on Steam. I don't know how much it was. I got it on a discount, so I'm happy with it. I'm definitely happy with this. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was just... I don't know what to say there, but... yeah, so this is the Halloween treat. Happy Halloween. Hope you all enjoy yourselves. What? Make sure your candy isn't got razor blades or cocaine or wherever you getting candy nowadays. Enjoy yourselves. Don't have too much fun. Don't get too crazy, but have a good time. And I hope you enjoyed my spooky specials. And maybe you'll see me do other spooky stuff in later years. Maybe just out of Halloween. Like, I could play some other horror games, maybe just for funsies. And maybe try and get a face cam going on here. That'd be kind of cool. See my ugly mug being Shriek. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. See y'all next time on whatever I do.